Thank you. Thank you so much for having me and for inviting me to be able to be here and talk about something that I'm really passionate about, which is coming alongside people and facilitating the process of helping them bravely engage in the stories that have shaped them.
I love that. Well, I'd love to open us up in prayer first. So if wherever you are, if you'll just bow your heads, or if you're driving, you can just soften your shoulders. Heavenly Father, thank you for this time that we have the opportunity to learn together. We praise you because you, God, are worthy of it all. Help us to anchor ourselves in you and your promises and not let the busyness of life make us doubt your faithfulness. Refresh and renew our bodies, minds, and spirits so we can overflow with your goodness, your kindness, and your love to others. Thank you for each person listening today, and allow them to hear you through us. Strengthen us all today, guide us, Lord, and continue to transform us to be more like you. Amen. So I'd love to tell you guys a little bit more about Tara. Tara is a licensed professional counselor with a master's in professional counseling. When we're afraid, anxious, and triggered, our bodies become dysregulated. Tara collaborates with clients to reconnect the brain, calm the body, and improve the ability to release and regulate emotions. Her approach to therapy is family systems and structural family therapy, with the understanding that we learn what to do with our emotions and needs in our early experiences with our family of origin. She integrates family systems and attachment theories because we all develop ways of coping that help us in our attachments to caregivers, and we carry those early attachment styles and coping strategies into all other relationships. Within the context of our families, generational family dynamics and influences shape each person's story and how they are in relationship with themselves and others. Tara offers trauma-informed care and utilizes internal family systems within the context of family systems to help clients understand their external and internal family system. She says her best days are hearing clients tell her that they're more prepared to cope with issues outside of the counseling room, to better manage their emotions, and are better able to speak truth to themselves. She loves seeing lives transformed from the inside out, and that's how we are just so similar in that, and I'm so grateful that she's here to share. Tara met her husband while she was a student at University of Georgia. They've been married for 28 years, way to go, and have 3 amazing children, 2 sons and a daughter. She enjoys working out, taking long walks with her husband, spending time with her children, reading, traveling, and relishing time around a table with good friends. I personally have been so blessed to work with Tara, as she is our family's counselor, and she has helped our family navigate through some difficult situations and given us amazing insight into the journey of mental health and well-being. So thank you, Tara, for being here. I'm grateful to be able to share your bio with our listeners. Tara, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became a counselor.
Okay, so I really honestly have been interested in families and helping others and entering into their stories since I was a little girl. I have really early memories of noticing people and having a lot of curiosity and empathy around what I've noticed. I really believe I was hardwired by God to be a counselor, and the story he unfolded in my life just has only confirmed what he's called me to do. So I attended Georgia as as a student in the 90s, and graduated with a degree in child and family development, and was looking at obtaining my master's degree when I graduated, and then I met my husband my senior year at Georgia. And kind of the rest is history. We met and dated and got engaged and married, and then went to Asbury Seminary in Wilmore, Kentucky, so that he could obtain his Master of Divinity.
Okay.
We've been in ministry for around 28 years.
Wow.
Long time. And so we left seminary with his degree and our first baby in tow. And I just had the privilege of being at home with my kids for 14 years. We have 3 kids, Luke, Seth, and Lydia, 24, 22, and 17. And I decided at age 40, which was about 11 years ago, to go back to get my degree finally. It just seemed like it was time. And I've been working as a professional counselor for 7 years now. So I really feel like the marriage and the parenting and the years of ministry were my best teachers in preparation for becoming a counselor, and the education just was a requirement. Yeah.
I recently read this book, and your story reminds me of it. It's called From Strength to Strength. And it talks about your second part of life and your, like, what your true passion and like where your career goes. And your story reminds me so much of that book, of just like, okay, this is my second part of life, and here's like where I feel really passionately called to like live out what my work is, and this is definitely your strength.
I remember being torn about entering into a kind of something other than motherhood that I was passionate about, because I am so passionate about being a mom. My then, who's now 24, Luke, when he was 14, I went back to school, and I remember when I walked across the stage, they were all there, all my husband, all 3 of the kids were there waiting on me to embrace me. They were so proud of me. And I remember Luke saying, like, Mom, it was really cool watching you pursue something else other than us that you're passionate about. It kind of helps me to know, like, it's okay for me to pursue that too, for me to figure out what I'm passionate about. So it has been really cool to step into another passion for the second half of my life.
I hope that encourages women listening all over, that whatever you're doing, maybe right now, maybe God's just planting seeds for you, and maybe you'll be walking in your true calling at a different point in your life, and you might not know it right now, and that's okay.
Yes.
So thanks for sharing that. So we all enjoy learning and hearing, Tara, from all of our guests that come on the show. What is one thing that you wish you had known when you were younger?
Okay, there are so many things that I wish I had known when I was younger, but I would say my greatest challenge in following Jesus for over 32 years has been waiting on God when things are confusing or painful or unanswered. Like most of us, I prefer control and knowing and being sure and certain and having the longings of my heart fulfilled. So I think about Psalm 37:7. It says, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him." So this has not been easy for me at all. It is such a huge part of my own personal story, dating back to my earliest experiences as a child, just going through painful things and waiting on deliverance without losing hope and faith in the goodness of God. And that's difficult. So I wish I had learned sooner in life that God asking me to wait is really an invitation to enter into a deeper connection with him. There's a verse that says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick." And I have experienced that as a child praying for my family, and as an adult praying for people I love dearly. It has been easier than I would like to admit for me to lose sight of God, my provider, and fix my heart instead on what I was needing him to do for me. So it has taken years of waiting in prayer to learn how to remain in hope and to know that ultimately he is my answer. It's been a long journey to learn that I'm most free and whole, not when I get what I'm praying for, but when God purges all that comes up in me while I wait. And one of the parables that just has been a great encouragement to me is the persistent widow in Luke 18. Particularly in seasons of waiting and prayer, I have learned to contend in prayer, to intercede for those I love, and believe in hope and deep trust that God has heard my prayer and he's at work, carrying out his will on earth as it is in heaven and even in my life. So I have learned to pray by praying and waiting. And that is something I wish I could have learned sooner, just to trust that he's with me while I wait, and that's just easier said than done.
It's a lot easier said than done, but it's a great reminder for us in this season, because I know we all have periods or different points in our lives, or just maybe different things. Like I know there's good and hard in every single day, and good in waiting in every single day, and he's with us in the journey. Hope is a word, though, that kept popping out to me when you were saying that, so thanks for sharing that. I hope that encourages a young woman somewhere around just to be patient in the waiting. I that God's transforming you through it all.
Yeah, and that he meets you in those longings. You aren't forgotten. You know, that he's with you, he sees you, he's your help. And what he brings up in us while we wait is something for him to set us free from. You know, that's the good stuff. Yeah, hard but really good.
So Tara, how would you encourage women in the journey of well-being and mental health?
So, you know, we are holistic beings, and so taking care of ourselves in every facet of our lives helps us in our well-being. We were also made for relationships, so nurturing our relationship with God and ourselves and with others is, I believe, vital to our well-being. So honestly, 3 action steps that are easy to remember. The first one would be know God and allow yourself to live inside the reality that you are his beloved. If something has happened, or maybe something didn't happen that needed to have happened in your life that has blocked the connection you were made to have with your Creator, get curious about the disconnect. Talk with someone you trust about the pain or the questions you have. Make sure it's someone who can take your hand and gently walk you back toward God. So that would be the first thing I would say, is just honestly, your well-being starts with knowing who made you. And then number 2 would be know yourself in connection to who God says you are. There's a great quote by Thomas Merton, who's a forefather in our faith, and he says, "The secret of my identity is hidden in the love and mercy of God. There is no true life apart from relationship with God. Our truest selves are deeply hidden in him. Unhealed wounds open us up to habitual sin against God and others." So I think knowing yourself, knowing where you've come from, knowing what has shaped you for good and for hard, is like a first step in being able to know yourself, so that you can, and you find God in knowing who you are. Yeah. And then number 3 would be knowing others. We can't give what we don't have, and I say that a lot. So the more you know God and yourself, the more you can give yourself away in a vulnerable and authentic way to others. And this is honestly real relationship.
I appreciate what you said about knowing yourself, and I think through counseling, that's something that I've learned over the past 15 years, that I thought I knew myself until I really had to do the deep dive and like peel back those slow layers of the onion. And a lot of stuff I didn't like. Maybe I didn't want to really know myself, and maybe it was partly because of some family things that have popped up through the years. But over the years, I do feel like knowing myself better has helped me be a better mom and a better wife and a better friend to others. So hard. But again,
Very
it's
hard.
like peeling back the onion, like, oh, the tears, but like, oh, it's good at the end.
Yes.
But it's such a process, So thanks for encouraging women with that, with those 3 action steps. I think that could really be very helpful for women. In dealing with anxiety, which is such a buzzword right now, and you've really helped our family with that word, how would you encourage women in combating anxiety?
So from a mental health perspective, and these are not going to be fun words, but from a mental health perspective, anxiety actually isn't something you combat. It's something you name and you acknowledge in order to process, because we know this. If we don't process our emotions, they process us. And that usually comes out in physiological symptoms, panic attacks, anxiety attacks, stomach aches, headaches, struggle to breathe because your chest feels so heavy. And so really, pain just gives us information. Uncomfortable emotions just give us information. It usually shows us a part of ourselves that needs attention and care. So most anxiety is what we feel when we are avoiding important unfelt emotions. Our feelings aren't a problem that we're supposed to fix or ignore. They're actually just feedback from our bodies and our nervous systems about how we're doing and what we need in life. So really, paying attention to your feelings just points you to your needs, and being able to show up in everyday life, in relationships, with feelings and needs, and being able to communicate those in healthy ways